Right, today we're going to test on the hard floor with some flour and oatmeal for the Shark Rotator Pet, the Kenmore 600, and the Mealy C1 Turbo. As you can see, it got basically everything. I didn't get a chance to suck up these because it was outside the range, but the parts that it did go on basically sucked up everything. But if we zoom in a little bit closer, I can help you guys. Zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that parts right here, this is where the flour was, and you see the flour when I put the tablespoon of flour, it went inside this indent here, and the vacuum wasn't able to suck up all the flour inside the indent. I can tell it did suck up some of it, but there's still some left. And based on this side as well, I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see there's a little bit of white in here as well because the oatmeal has a little bit of powder, so the powder slipped into the cracks as well. So there's a tiny bit, a little bit more in the flour. But these are just small critiques that I have. Overall, as you saw, it sucked up everything. So you can see that it did not suck up all of the flour. I made sure to put it on hard floor mode, and also you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but right here, there's a setting, the low mode. So I made it all the way down so it can suck up the debris while being closest to the hard floor as possible. So this is the best suction that this thing is possible with. And overall, it did a really good job on the oatmeal. It's just that for the flour, it didn't manage to get in on all of it. And you see, as we saw previously, there is more flour in the crease this time because the suction power is not rivaling against the Rotator. So let me pause this for now, and I think, although I set the setting to the hard floor right now, I think it is too close to the ground that it's not able to suck up some of the bigger pieces like the oatmeal. So I will try it again, but with the setting that's a little bit lifted off the ground so it can hopefully actually suck up the bigger pieces. All right, let's do it again. So as you saw, when I lifted the vacuum, I was able to suck up a lot more of the oatmeal. I basically sucked up all of the flour too. I can feel when I did it the first pass, I had a crazy suction. That's why you see there's not a lot of stuff inside the crease. There is some small bits of flour in the crease, but overall, all the flour has been sucked up. But as you can see, it left a lot of oatmeal because even with the mode that is a little bit off the ground, I don't think it was still high enough to suck up the bigger debris. But for the smaller debris, it's really insane. So this is the overview for the three vacuums. Obviously, the Shark Rotator Pet is the best, and the second best is the Kenmore, and then the Mealy C1 Turbo. Let's move on to the next test. So next, we're doing quinoa and beans to see how they work on heavier objects. So as you can see, it is a perfect score. It didn't leave any quinoa, it didn't leave any beans. It did amazing. I don't see any quinoa in the creases. It got basically everything. This is amazing. So I think we have the same problem where the front of the head is too low to the ground to pick up the beans. So I'm gonna adjust the head so it's high enough to pick up the beans and start it again. Let's see how this does. No, I think it is too big to get into the suction parts of this vacuum here. So for the beans, I don't think it really picked up much of anything, but for the quinoa, it did an amazing job. So next we'll move on to the mealy C1. So again, this is too low to the ground in order to pick up the bigger pieces like the beans, but it did leave a little bit more quinoa than I expected versus the Kenmore where it picked up all the quinoa. So now this is the final look. As you can see, perfect score, the Shark Rotator Pet. The second up is the Kenmore 600 and the last place is Mealy. For the small particles, it picked up basically everything. So honestly, if you don't have anything too big, you can't go wrong with all these three, but the best one is definitely the Shark Rotator Pet.